Hello, welcome to the channel. So we have got a Marshall JMP, you can see in front of me, and everybody's looking at it and a gasp. And yes, it's a Tweed one. So this has been recovered. I suppose whether you like it or not is I quite like it actually. I think it looks quite cool. The covering's coming off it a little bit, but yeah. A Tweed Marshall. I'm sure there's some of you purists out there that don't like it though, but anyway, that's up for debate. So this amp's in because it has blown the power fuse, and a quick check on the fuses at the back. The HT fuse should be 1 amp and it's 2 amp, and the power fuse is also 2 amp and it's blown the power fuse. So but anyway, we're going to investigate it and see what we can find out. You can see this amp's had some mods on it. We've got a line out down there as well, but it's also got, we'll have a look at the back. So you can see this is 100 watt, by the way, Mark II Master Model 100 lead there, and we've got this plate on the back, and it has been modded, so it's got a 60, 30 and 100 switch on the back here. So you can see here we've got this switch here which says 60, 30 and 100, and it says this amplifier has been customized so the output can be switched from 100 watt, 60 or 30 watt. Use the toggle switch below. When using the 60 watt or 30 watt setting, you must adjust the speaker output ohm control by half of your speaker cabinet rating. So e.g. if you are using a 16 ohm cab, set the control to 8 ohms. For 100 watt, set it to your normal cabinet rating. Interesting. Got a send and return on the back as well. So this amp's had quite a bit of work done to it. Let's get the back off and have a look. My word, this one's caused me to flex my muscles. Oh, what muscles? I don't have any, do I? Forgot. I don't see anything obvious with the output tubes. An array of capacitors you can see here. 4 dallies, another dally there, and they're the original capacitors. Choke, output transformer, he's a monster, and the power transformer, well, he's even bigger monster. 18th of the 1st 1980 is the date on this amp. Let's have a look what we've got here. That's a Tesla. We've got in there, what's this one? That's a Tesla as well. This one, ow, this one, I do struggle to get these off. So if any of you newer subscribers wonder why I'm always flinching when I'm taking those things off and doing other stuff that entails me using my thumbs, I've got osteoarthritis in them, so not that I'm whinging about it, but occasionally it does give me jip. Are those the original tubes? I don't know. Certainly got some dust on it, so we'll need to get that off, clean it up a bit. Yes, it is quite dusty, so we'll clean that off. Right, we're ready to tip it over and have a look at these mods that have been done inside it. Right, so we're looking inside here, and you can see this switch that's been put on here is, so basically what this is doing, it's just cutting off 2 of the output tubes, which is why it's asking to reduce the impedance on there. So what people used to do years ago, they'd pull out a pair of the tubes, either the outer 2 or the inner 2. Some work done here. A lot of flux left there on the board, not sure what that is, we'll have to look at that as a mod. Here's the send and return. Where's that going to? Let's see where that goes now. Through here. And that goes, well, that's going off the speakers by the look of it. Yeah, it is. Is that there? There. Yeah. And we've got this 560 ohm resistor there. Not sure about all of that. What else? Got something going on here. I don't know what's going on there with that. I don't recall that being original. It's also wobbling around and shouldn't be. So that's not very good, because over time that's just going to break off. That's actually to ground. 100 ohms to ground. What pin's that on? That's on the cathodes. Not sure of the idea of that. They've been using it as some kind of measurement, but I can't really see what. I think we'll remove that. Right, let's get some power into it. Let's just have another look at these fuses as well. It's a long time since I've looked in one of these, the 100 watt version. It's had some work done here. This flux all over the board. So you can see the fuse there is blown. Right, I'm just going to run this amp up now and have a just check a few voltages. I'm going to put it on the current limiter. Start with a 100 watt bulb. I may need more for this. Yes, we will, my dear. That's a dead short. Just switch on. Ooh, so they're bright. So we've got a dead short somewhere. So the first port of call is going to be the rectifiers, then the diodes. Rectification. Yes, he looks very suspect. And so does he. Right, I've got the board out, and I've just unsoldered these two diodes to test them. This one tests okay, but this one is blown, madam. Like Mrs. Blenkinsop's TV, that is blown. These are 1N4007s, are they? Normally are. Yeah, 1N4007s. We'll just change all four. Anyway, those two seem okay, and that one, but that is definitely blown. So we'll change those. And this should be good to go again. So if we just bring this up here I always prefer to test these out of circuit, which is but you can usually, even in circuit, you get an indication of whether they're blown or not. But if we look at that one, you can see half a volt, nothing. But if we look at this one, when we test it, it's short both ways. So right, I've got some diodes here which I ordered from Mauser Electronics, and we've got some 1N4007s, and these are 1N5408s, but I don't think the leads will go through the PC board on those. And you can see there it's just dropped in half, so yes, he's not well. Now I've just checked the winding on the secondary, and that seems fine. We've checked it with the meter, so that seems okay. So maybe that's just said I've had enough after 40 years, more than 40 years actually, 45 years. Right, I've got the diodes in and I've lifted them off the board a little, and I've had to extend this wire because I had to cut some off it because it was badly corroded inside the insulation. So I've trimmed that back and just had to join it and shrink tube it there, get that on. So I've done that, so we're ready to fire up again now. I've got the current limiter on, so we'll power it up and see what happens. Just going to pull one of the bulbs so we can restrict the voltage that's going into it a little more. Now it's on standby at the minute. Actually no, we are on, we're powered up. Oh, and there we go, we're running. It's a bit noisy, but we're running. So we'll just keep it on that 100 watt bulb for a minute, which is pretty dim. Now I've been looking at some of this circuitry that's been added to this amp while I've been working away on these diodes and things. I need to get this board cleaned up. My flux is still on there, but there's I've got some flux here, but there's all this here, all this soda flakes. I'm not sure what that's about, but we'll clean that off. So this, back to this mod that's been done. So this mod's been done by lifting the cathodes from ground on the outer set of these tubes, I think. I've only had a quick look, but so here's the ground going back to the switch here. The grounds have been lifted from, normally on these they've got like a tag on here, and the ground tag, and that's been cut off on all of them. But then it dawned on me what this resistor was here, and this, and I think from what I've gleaned, and I've not really delved deep, but what I've kind of thinking is that when it goes onto that 30 watt setting, they've got these outer tubes cathode biased off this resistor here, so they're getting the 60 watt by having the inner tubes at, or the outer tubes. I'm not quite sure. I'm gonna have to check that wiring and see what they've done. There's no grounds on those, so what they're doing there. But anyway, one of these pairs of tubes, it running on its own at 60 watts, but then when you switch it on to the 30, they're switching it from fixed bias to cathode bias by the look of this, and then running that pair in cathode bias, which obviously you don't get as much output from cathode bias as you do fixed bias. Well, that's the theory anyway, and that's what I think that is. The amp's humming quite a bit, and this send and return which has been done here, and I think if I was doing that I'd have used screen cable, but anyway. So let's just test across that resistor. Bear in mind we've got the current limiter on, and we're keeping that on for a bit. One of the reasons is in case there is another fault on this amp. Either that die is blown because it was just tired, or something's blown it. So let's just measure across here. So I don't have anything across that now, so let's go to the 30 watt setting. I still don't have anything across it. So let's try that. No, I don't have anything across that. I'm not sure what's going on there. So let's try it on the 60 setting and see what's across that resistor. No, nothing. Nil point. So not quite sure what that resistor's actually doing there at the minute. But that's what the appearance that gives. Now this amp is incredibly noisy. Although the amp is flat out there. And is that now on? So the other mods that have been done on this amp is the cold clipper here, the 10k cold clipper. So I had another 10k paralleled into there, so now that's 5k. So that's been done to get a bit more juice owner out of a bit more gain. And then we've had another mod added here. There are a couple of 470k resistors there, and they will probably be grid stoppers or attenuators in this circuit. So someone has altered the resistance of that. I can't see what value that is. That is 92k that they've put across there. That's the attenuator resistor, because that's the cap that goes across it, the bright cap. But so that's been meddled with. So somebody's been trying to get more gain out of this amp. So this line out, sorry, this send and return here that's been added. All sorts of shenanigans going on there. But at least the amp is running now. Screen resistor there is crumbling, or at least the outer coating is crumbling on it. It looks a bit corroded, so we might have to change him. In fact, we will have to change him. There's no might about it. So not really sure, 100% sure what's going on with this. It's obviously it's wired onto the cathodes, and they're obviously lifting the cathodes to switch off 2 of the tubes. But of course that's made the amp very noisy. But at least it's running now. Now bearing in mind I've got 167 volts going into this amp now, and it's already quite noisy. So I'm going to put the other 100 watt bulb in there now. And you can hear now the volume's going to come up because the voltage is coming up. Oh dear. Yep, so this and bear in mind I've only got this on a 1x10 speaker. When this is on a 4x12, boy. So I've got 205 volts going into it now. It's not affecting it. Just going to ease the current limiter off, but I'm going to keep my finger on the button. Yes, right, let's put the limiter back on. It's a bit of protection while we're messing with it. Well, it's running, but by gum it's noisy. And I'm still not sure what that resistor's doing there. It's definitely coming off the cathodes and to ground, so I assumed from that they'd managed to wire this cathode bias somehow on the 30 watt setting. Let's go on to the 30 watt setting again. Oh no, the 30 watt setting's in the centre. Duh. We're looking at it upside down. Let's try it and see what we've got. We should have a reading across it, a voltage across it if it's a cathode resistor. Let's see. And we've got 2 volts across it, but then let's just flick the limiter off, see what we've got across it now. 2 point, it's flashing about all over the place. 2.9 volts we've got across that. .9 volts, but surely that's not going to work, because you still to do that, to do a cathode fixed bias switch, you've surely got to remove the bias voltage off the grid. Well, that's not going to work, so it can't be that, can it? So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. Not sure. Not really comfortable with this mod the way it's done. And I've got a feeling that that that's been changed. These two have been changed, and this one, now I'm not sure on those, because normally these yellow. Okay, I could be wrong though. We'll have to check the schematic. By gum, that's a noisy beggar. Well, so we've got 3 mods on this amp then. So we've got this 30-60-100 switch, which is wired into the cathodes between ground. We've got a send and return here, which I'm trying to see where they've wired that in. Dear, oh dear. Well, I think we can deduce where most of the noise is coming from. So it looks like they've wired that into this volume here, because that's coming off the, is that the that's the send coming off the center tap. Oh, that made me jump. And then the returns coming off the off the other side of the pot. The bright cap there still on. Some people take those off. So that's that. And then we've got this line out mod coming off the speaker socket here, with this 560 ohm resistor, and then we've got another resistor here coming off the, I'm not a lover of that either. So there we go. So I've got the amp up and running. I've got this board to clean up whatever I do, and obviously I'm going to do that because I've left some of my flux, and there's boatloads of the previous flux, like on this for example here. Let's turn it down. So I think, just turn the volumes down. I've got no capacitance hum. So what I'm going to do now is get back to the customer and have a word about what we've found. I'm going to make this a part 1 video and put this video up for you to all see, and let me know in the comments what you think about these mods. I know what I think about them, but let me know in the comments. And should we put this amp back to original? So that'll do it for this one. So thanks for watching. You all take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye for now.